Hello, Lyme Regis Baptist Church family, and welcome anybody else who is watching this introduction for the 28th of February 2021. I hadn't actually intended to provide this introduction during my 3-week break from providing our own online content. However, the recent government announcement on the roadway out of lockdown and the alternative content that I've selected for this week made me think that this brief introduction would be really useful. So the alternative content I've selected for this week is a recent service posted online by Emmanuel Baptist Church in Falmouth. And why have I selected this? Well, I've selected it for several reasons. Firstly, Emmanuel Baptist is part of our Southwest Baptist Association family of churches. Secondly, the minister, Charles Blizzard, will be very familiar to many of us as he was the former minister of Kilmington Baptist Church. Thirdly, a bit of a personal connection really, Emmanuel Baptist Church was the church that Izzy attended while she was at uni in Falmouth and where Joel goes to when he can. And fourthly and finally, because in this particular service, Charles asked all those involved in providing the online content for them to give a brief testimony as to what this has involved for them over the last 10 months. Now, I think this information is really useful and helpful for us at this present time for several reasons. Firstly, because according to the government's roadmap out of lockdown, the hope is that all restrictions could be lifted by the end of June. Whew. And so we're potentially in the home stretch, the home run, so to speak, before we can get back to meeting in our buildings together once more. Secondly, this pandemic has dramatically changed how local churches engage in ministry and mission. Like other churches, we will have to work out if and how we might maintain an online ministry after restrictions are lifted. Our statistics show that a significant number of people regularly watch our online content. And in particular, the teaching videos attract as many people outside the regular Lyme Regis Baptist Church congregation as within. For those who are interested in the statistics, I've provided more details in an email I've sent out with a link for this Sunday's alternative content. So, as with all the other churches that have to deal with this issue, all the other local churches in similar situations will have to think about how we continue to minister to those who have joined us online but not joined us physically. And finally, this particular service by Emmanuel Baptist helps us to appreciate and understand this new ministry and mission environment thrust upon us by this pandemic and what it actually takes to provide online content. And although Emmanuel Baptist Church is over 3 times the size of Lyme Regis Baptist Church and the town profile is very different from ours, the task of providing online content for smaller churches like ourselves remains the same as for the larger churches that are better resourced. So Emmanuel Baptist Church's service begins with an extended time of slides that's advertising church activities. If you wish to skip this, then fast forward in the video to about minute 15, and then you'll get to the beginning of the service itself. So please pray for us as a leadership team as we will be seeking the Lord's will for us in terms of our own LRBC roadmap out of lockdown. And please pray for Mark, myself, and all those other people in local churches faced with this last home stretch of providing regular online content, especially with the higher expectations for content that celebrating Easter will bring.